Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Melinda Genzarli, the lead internal auditor for the County Internal Auditor's Office. I will be presenting today on behalf of the County Internal Auditor, Peggy Caskey. We'll be calling the meeting to order. We'll be skipping the approval of the minutes as we do not have a quorum here today. And with that, we are going to get right into our new member orientation. So I will give Arabelle just a moment to pull up that presentation. Okay, and Arabelle, go ahead and skip to the next slide. All right, so we would like to welcome Cheryl Birdsong. She's our new committee member, so welcome. We're very happy to have you. Go ahead and click to the next slide. Okay, and this slide just shows our committee members. We, of course, have Cheryl Birdsong, Rolanda McDuffie, Sabrina Shirley Aiken, Patricia Simmons, and Delphi Allman. And go ahead and switch. All right. So for starters, we're going to talk a little bit about the organization. This slide depicts the Hillsborough County local government structure and communicates that the authority of the internal audit function originates from the Hillsborough County Home Rule Charter, section 4.10. And it states that to advise the Board of County Commissioners and to assist the Board of County Commissioners in conducting continuing studies of the operation of county programs and services, there shall be a county internal auditor. The county internal auditor shall be appointed by 5 affirmative votes of the Board of County Commissioners. And go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so this slide shows the county internal auditor's organizational independence, which per the Red Book standards is effectively achieved when the chief audit executive reports functionally to the board. The chief audit executive must communicate and interact directly with the board. And then that little graphic to the side there shows that we do have that organizational independence that's required by the Red Book standards. And go ahead and flip to the next slide. Okay, so now we have our wonderful 3 lines of defense model. And I'll just take a moment to briefly explain sort of how each line of defense plays a distinct role within the organization-wide governance framework. First, we have those top 2 sections. We have, of course, the Board of County Commissioners and Senior Executive Management, and they are the primary stakeholders served by the lines. They collectively have responsibility and accountability for setting the organization's objectives, defining strategies to achieve those objectives, and establishing governance structures and processes to best manage the risks and accomplishing those objectives. We have our first line of defense to the left, and that's operational management functions who actually own the risks. Our second line of defense is our risk management and compliance functions who oversee the risks. And then there sits us, that third line of defense. And the internal audit activity provides independent assurance on the effectiveness of governance, risk management, and internal audit controls, including the manner in which the first and second lines of defense achieve risk management and control objectives. And then last but not least, we have our the areas residing outside the organization, which are comprised of our external auditors, regulators, and other external bodies. The risk information gathered is generally less extensive than the scope addressed by the 3 internal lines of defense. And go ahead and hit the next slide. All right, so here we have the County Internal Auditor's Office organizational chart. At the top, we have our wonderful leader, Peggy Caskey, and her fabulous assistant, Arabelle Tamayo. And there sits me, the lead internal auditor, and our 2 wonderful senior internal auditors. And Jeremy joined us back in May, and we're very, very happy to have him. And go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so next we're going to move into the introduction to the County Internal Audit Committee responsibilities. which will be presented by Deborah Camardi-Mincy, Michelle Van Dyke, and Brandon Wagner. And I'll turn it over to our guests to go over the purpose of the County Internal Audit Committee. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just kind of go over this slide. So the purpose of the Internal Audit Committee, it serves in an advisory capacity to the Board of County Commissioners and to the County Internal Auditor's Office on issues presented to the Audit Committee related to monitoring audit activities for the Board of County Commissioners. The committee also serves as an intermediary between the board and the County Internal Auditor upon request.
That was perfectly said, Melinda. My mute button was on, so my apologies.
Okay.
There's really no more to add to that.
Okay, thanks.
Well played, Deborah. Well played.
Yes. Hey. Did you want me to go over the committee responsibilities, Melinda?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay, because typically I don't do these slides, but I'm happy to do them. So making internal audit program recommendations on an annual basis, commenting to the board about the performance of the internal auditor based on an annual risk assessment. Number 3, the responsibilities include considering if the auditor's resources align with the budget. And number 4 is reviewing the auditor's communication of results and forwarding those to the board with comments. Number 5 would be monitoring the auditor's progress against the annual audit plan and disposition of results. 6 would be ensuring that there are no unjustified restrictions or limitations placed on the audit or the auditor's functions. 7 would be on an annual basis, making comments regarding the auditor's performance of the auditor of her annual audit plan, and also acting as a selection committee to interview applicants such as yourself. This is the position that they were in selecting you, Ms. Cheryl, and making recommendations to the board on hiring for a new county auditor. Those are just a few of the committee responsibilities. Melinda, did you want anything else, or did you have anything else to add?
No, I think you covered it just perfect.
Okay.
Okay. And I can go ahead and grab this slide. So the overview of the committee operations, the membership, the committee must have no fewer than 3 members and no more than 5. Members are appointed by the board for terms of 2 years and may not be appointed more than 2 full consecutive terms. The committee appointment process will follow the board's appointment policy. The County Internal Auditor's Office will review each applicant's qualifications to present to the committee. Within the organization, the majority of the total membership of the committee constitutes a quorum. A quorum is required in order for the committee to conduct business or to take action on any matter before the committee. Each member is entitled to 1 vote and will cast that vote on each item submitted. Proxy votes and absentee ballots are not permitted. Members can only abstain from a vote when there is a valid conflict of interest addressed to the committee. The committee chair is responsible for presiding over the committee meetings. And the audit committee operations include regular meetings which are held quarterly at a time, date, and place set by the committee chair or his designee. All meetings are open to the public. For advertising purposes, the county internal auditor will provide to the public a schedule of the committee's meetings and will ensure agendas and minutes are available to the public. Meetings are conducted in accordance with the Robert Rules of Order.
Hi, Cheryl. I'm Brandon Wagner. I'm the Chief Administrator for Government Relations and Strategic Services, which is a really long title for the minder of the junk drawer. I have a variety of services within my shop. One of them includes oversight of a series of boards and councils appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. Mine tend to be the more politically interesting, is how I'll scale it. Yours is one. This committee is one of expertise and certainly a singular focus. And this is just kind of a primer for boards and councils in general. There are 56 of them under the Board of County Commissioners, and they're made up of volunteers who are willing to serve their time and their talents, and certainly appreciate your willingness to do that. It really is an important role, and these boards and councils all have different missions. This one, I think, is one of the more important because of the kind of work that's done by the county auditor's office is vital and sensitive, and has great impact upon the operation of the county. So for that, just wanted to give you a little bit of background. So of the 56, most of them have a specific focus. There is a policy that guides how that process takes place. There's a code of conduct for each for boards and councils broadly. This committee certainly does not have a problem with that, so nothing that you need to be concerned about. That process is governed by the Director of Board Services under the clerk's office. They schedule and arrange for interviews, applications, those kind of things that you went under. The big thing that comes out of this is understanding the importance of the role, that's of being of providing your expertise and guidance, recognizing that at the end of the day, it's ultimately the Board of County Commissioners who makes decisions on policy. We're simply here to provide recommendations and feedback. Their role is at the end of the day the final say so. And of course, while you're all members of the committee, the board chair is really the person who speaks for the entity. So if there's a presentation to the Board of County Commissioners, that goes out and speaks on behalf of the auditor or the audit committee, it's that person who has that responsibility first and foremost. And the reason for that is because of the extensive sunshine laws and making sure that we're following those to the T, and that we're communicating the message of the group, and that person is speaking for the board as an entirety, not as an individual, where it could appear that there's some dissension or disagreement. And as was already pointed out, each committee member has a vote, each committee member has a value to the process, and it's certainly respected and recognized. So that's just kind of the general gist of the boards and councils. Next, I think Deborah is going to touch on the sunshine laws themselves and make sure that we're good there. And if I can ever be of assistance to you, feel free to call. They have my email address, phone numbers, smoke signals. Happy to help, and appreciate your service and welcome aboard.
I think we're moving on to exactly the Robert's Rules of Order. And let me just introduce myself if I haven't already. I know I just jumped right into it, but Deborah, my name is Deborah Cromartie-Minson with the County Attorney's Office. I represent Peggy Caskey, the Internal Auditor, and her department. I also represent the Internal Audit Committee. So you'll see a lot of me as you all have your meetings. You're here, my opinions and probably some of my positions on things. So I am the one that's guiding you all legally through some of your processes. 14, the slide 14 is your Robert's Rules of Order. Certainly all of the boards and councils must follow the Robert's Rules of Order. You may be familiar with it. It's basically just a parliamentary procedure for how meetings are conducted. It allows everyone to be heard, to make decisions. It helps to rule out chaos, if you will. Who's going to speak first, who's not going to speak. It goes from calling the meeting to order all the way to adjournment and anything and everything in between. So those Robert's rules will be followed. This is really a guide for the state level meetings, if you will, the legislature. but many of the provisions in the Roberts rules we follow locally. Basically your chair will be the one person to make sure that parliamentary procedures are followed. I will be available as well to make certain that if he has any questions or your vice chair has any questions about any of the rules or things that may play out at your meetings that need to be responded to, I will be there as well. So that is Robert's Rules of Order. Any questions on that, Ms. Cheryl? You're okay? Okay. As to the Sunshine Law, the next slide, boards and councils, in addition to Robert's Rules of Order, must also follow sunshine laws. Your sunshine law is governed by the Florida Constitution and the Florida statutes, Chapter 286 specifically. And it basically goes and says that all meetings of any board, which will be a meeting of the Internal Audit Committee, at which official acts are to be taken, are public meetings. And at all times, no formal action can be taken at such meeting unless they are published or advertised with reasonable notice. Those meetings must take place and be open to the public, and minutes must be taken. So I'm assuming that meetings are taken today. It's certainly open to the public, virtual attendance, and I believe some in-person attendance may also be available as well. I'm not certain. And reasonable notice must be given, and I'm assuming that this meeting was given reasonable notice to the public. In addition to that, just what makes a sunshine meeting, basically any of your meetings are sunshine meetings, except if they are fact-finding meetings. You guys seldomly have fact-finding meetings. Those kinds of meetings are when you're just gathering facts. Certainly, most of your meetings are full of decision-making and other important things that need to take place. So I would say all of your meetings are sunshine meetings. Your phone calls are sunshine meetings, because anytime you have members of the same board, members of your committee, I believe there are 5 of them, anytime you're having phone calls or conversations between 2 members of the same committee, that's subject to the sunshine law, because especially if there are discussions about issues that will foreseeably come back to the body for discussion. So the recommendation is always that there be very limited, if not no, discussions between members of the same committee, because although they may start off one way, it's very simple for those meetings to kind of turn in, those conversations to turn into a meeting, because one member or another may venture into some conversations that may foreseeably come back before the whole body for discussion. So phone calls are not exempt. Letters that go back and forth between members. And I believe in this slide, it talks about avoiding the appearance of impropriety by refraining from engaging in conversations with other members. It also talks about written, telephonic, or electronic communication about an item. If you were to see communications come in from other members via email, it's probably best that you forward that to to Peggy, the internal auditor, to her staff, maybe even to me. So, and especially if you're wanting to comment on something that you're seeing, it's best to go through one of us and not have direct conversations to the other member, because that will keep you from possibly violating the sunshine law. Did you have any questions on that? Is that okay? Any questions from anyone? All right. When did this sunshine law begin to apply to you? The moment you became appointed, you became subject to the sunshine law. And you're basically out of the realm of the sunshine law when you are no longer a part of this particular committee. The auditor exemption, the next slide, goes into public records, which is a little different than sunshine law. Sunshine law under 286 of the Florida statutes addresses public meetings or committee meetings. The public record exemption under Florida statutes chapter 119 addresses public records. Any public record is defined under the law as any record, any communication, any document that is made as a matter of course and in the midst of conducting government business. So that could be your text messages. It could be any documents that are being passed to and fro between members. It could be documents that are being passed out by the department to you all to review. Those would be considered public records because they are being made or have been made in the course of conducting county business, your internal audit functions. This exemption, just as 119 lays out what's a mandated public record and what must be given to the public if they were to make a request for public records, this 119 also lays out exemptions. So not everything is releasable. Not everything must be turned over. This is an exemption that applies particularly to the internal auditors. Their home address cannot be given out, telephone numbers, dates of birth, photographs of current or former employees of internal audit department whose duties include auditing.
And then remember that you are representing Hillsborough County at all times, and conduct yourself accordingly and professionally in that manner. I say these things not to make you feel intimidated, but basically just to keep you on, to keep it out there in front of you, if that makes sense. Just something to be aware of. So the next slide in this presentation, I love that graphic at the bottom because I that could either be anchors there in the news desk, or it could be people when they're approached by the media. And that really is kind of the deer in the headlights look that a lot of people might get when they get a media call, or they get a reporter who just comes up and talks to you, let's say after a meeting. And the first rule of thumb is just to not panic. They're just people like we are. And it's always a two-way conversation. It's never just them asking questions. I always find that sometimes, especially when I'm talking to a reporter, especially someone I don't know, you could simply just say, hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name again? And what is it that you're interested in? And just finding out as much information about what it is that they're looking for. Again, it's a dialogue. And then and you can see up there what kind of information you would ask. Well, and oftentimes I often see this sometimes in our own employees that will call me up and they'll say, well, I got a Bob from Channel 10 called, like, Bob who? There might be a bunch of Bobs out there. Or I'll get Bob from this radio station. Well, like what radio station? So again, just remembering that it's a two-way conversation. You can just get their name, what affiliate they're with, what's the inquiry about, what their deadline is. Just basic information, of course, contact information, because we just need to get back to them. Deborah will take care of that, or Peggy will take care of that. And then assure the reporter that you'll follow up on their requests. And oftentimes reporters are on deadline. So one of the things that we like to let reporters know is we understand their deadline. And even if we can't answer their questions that day, when we'll be able to get back to you. So it's just very basic information. I have to go back to that one slide that I talked about. What should you do with a media inquiry? Conduct yourself professionally, conduct yourself accordingly, and forward the inquiry to Peggy and to Deborah. And then I just want to pick up on one last thing about the public records. Reporters do ask for a lot of public records. And as you noticed about the exemption, it only exempts some very narrow things. But remember sometimes that if you get a document and you scribble on it, or you might make a graphic, let's say, and this is a very true thing that happened. Somebody in another department had actually made like a LOL on a document and circled it in a big circle, and that document then actually became a graphic for news media 5 years after that graphic was scribbled. So it's just something to keep in mind, even as you are writing notes in a public document. I always tell people with public records, never write down something in an email or on a document that you wouldn't want on the front page of the Tampa Tribune, or that no longer exists, or the Tampa Bay Times, or any outlet for that matter. I hope that makes sense. I don't mean there will not be that many issues, but this is just to prepare yourself just in case something comes along and there is a controversial issue where a reporter may ask for your opinion as a member of a committee. Any questions? Okay. Well, welcome aboard. And again, if you have any other further questions, just ask, and they know how to get a hold of me, just as Deborah said. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle. That was wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to take us into the internal audit operations. We're going to talk a little bit about our office and what we do. So to start, I'll be talking about the definition of internal auditing, code of ethics, and the standards. So the definition of internal auditing is that internal auditing is an objective, independent assurance and consulting activity. It's designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. It helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance processes. Our personnel are expected to apply and uphold the following principles outlined in the Code of Ethics, which includes integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, and competency. And then the County Internal Auditor's Office generally conforms to the Institute of Internal Auditors International Professional Practices Framework, and this is often referred to as the Red Book Standards. All right, so our office has a progressive auditing approach. Not only is it about getting it done, but it's about doing it better. So the office works as a business partner to help management achieve not only what needs to get done, which is that conformance with the written guiding principles, but also to do it better. In other words, provide advice to mature functional area under management's responsibilities. And then also the county internal auditor aligns part of her annual audit plan to the county administrator's strategic plan to capture critical business objectives with corresponding risk performance measurements and controls. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about our risk assessment process in the annual audit plan. The county internal auditor established a risk-based plan to determine the priorities of the internal audit activity, which is in alignment with the Board of County Commissioners' goals. The annual audit plan of engagement is based on it's a documented risk assessment undertaken annually. And of course, it's updated more frequently as deemed necessary with consideration and input from the commissioners, senior management, and that, of course, that's residing within the organization, and then as well as auditors and regulators residing outside of the organization. Okay, this slide here is just a really good visual of the components of that annual risk assessment. And several methods are employed to capture the risk and control environment, including management self-assessment surveys, which are sent out to management once a year, narratives, internal control questionnaires, which are performed by our office, and then those risks being rated and then put into our process. Each year builds upon the prior year and will continue to compile greater detail of the organization's risks. So as the organization is constantly changing and evolving, we're trying to stay on top of those objectives, risk controls to make sure we have a really good relevant risk assessment. Okay, this slide here talks a little bit about our project life cycle, which has 6 key stages. First being, of course, the risk assessment stage, which I just talked about, into planning and scheduling the audits that are included on that plan. And that brings us to once we have the project scheduled, We collect preliminary information, perform an entrance conference with management, and that brings us into the fieldwork stage where we're performing interviews, we're conducting a workflow, we're testing, performing validation procedures, and then having an end of fieldwork meeting just to make sure that we're on the same page with management and our conclusions and results are that we're all in agreement with that. At that point, we come into the reporting stage where we communicate results, both to the board, to management, and then once those results are communicated to the board, we go into the monitoring stage, and then any risks identified in any particular audit will be monitored for approximately 300 up to 365 days. Okay. So last but not least, when does an audit become a public record? Michelle talked a lot about public records, and this is more specific to our audits. So Florida statutes 119.0713, local government agency exemptions from inspection or copying public records, states that in most instances, the audit report of an internal auditor becomes for or on behalf of a unit of local government, that becomes a public record when it becomes final. Well, then the question is, well, when does that become final? And that's when it's presented to the unit of local government, and that would be the Board of County Commissioners. The audit work papers and notes related to such audit report, they are confidential and exempt from public record until the audit is completed and the audit report becomes final. So with that, that will conclude the orientation presentation. So Cheryl, do you have any questions as it relates to that? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we will be rescheduling the county internal auditor's report for the quarter ended June 30th, 2021, as we did not have a quorum today to proceed with the voting required in that presentation. And if anybody has any items to discuss as it relates to the orientation.
Yep.
Great job.
Okay.
I'm hiring you to do my orientations in the future, so.
Yeah, I guess my only thing is on the agenda, we did have an item to discuss the deployment of the 2021 annual audit plan letter. I don't believe that was per se something we needed to vote on, but just that we wanted to perhaps get signed today.
Ms. Sabrina Shirley Aiken, she reviewed the draft letter and we shared it with the committee last week. So she approved her signature as a vice chair. So if the committee, we don't need a votation on that, Ms. Deborah. So can we have that letter signed by Ms. Sabrina Shirley Aiken?
The last time the committee was together, did they vote to have her to review and sign?
Not that I remember.
Okay, and I think what normally happens is the committee gets a chance to review the letter, right?
Yes.
And have they had a chance to review that letter and make their comments?
I haven't received any comments when I shared it last week.
Okay, oh, so you did send it out to them?
Yes.
Okay, and there have been no comments?
No.
So I guess, is it safe to say that it is right to sign?
I think so.
Yeah, it's my understanding that that's not per se a vote that needs to occur, but just that, as you have indicated, Deborah, that everybody needs to have reviewed it, and it needs to be signed by either the chair or the vice chair. So our original plan was, if we were going to vote on the chair, at that point, we were going to have the chair sign the letter. But since we didn't do the voting today, then I guess my question is, would it be appropriate for the vice chair to go ahead and sign that letter today?
I would say so, because the vice chair now steps into the stead as the chair.
Mhm.
Was the vice chair position up for a vote as well, or just the chair?
It was both positions, but as we didn't have that election today, the vice chair still is representing the chair. So that's
Okay,
my
that should be
understanding, yeah.
fine. No, that should be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for their time and participation today. And with that, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye. See you, Brandon.
Bye.
Thank you.